All right. It was good just to get out there, obviously, and weather we haven't been in, and to still see some really good things on both sides of the ball. And that's ultimately what matters. And you try to make it competitive. You try to make it win or loser and see how they respond in an environment like that. But, obviously there was some restrictions I had on the defense, and it's really good to see, though. I think I saw a lot of positives on both sides of the ball. Making a field goal, special teams, you even saw a positive there, and it was good work. It looks like for the most part everybody was pretty healthy, and that's what you want to do. As I told this group, you look at 15 practices and the progression we've made, it's tremendous. And so they got to finish up here with finals and get a couple weeks off, and they get back here in June. It's time to go because we play week 0, and it's going to be here before we know it. And so I'm really, overall picture, just from the spring, I'm really pleased with the progression of this football team. So with that, I'll open up with any questions.
Okay, we'll start right in front with Pete Sampson.
Marcus, is that as good as Sam Hartman has looked all spring? Is that something you've sort of seen him building toward over the last week?
No, practice 1 to practice 15 has been tremendously different. But that's what it's all about, is the progression, is getting him better and improving. And, that's what you see. He's consistently improved, gotten better and better. And I'm sure, I don't know what the stats will say, and, even with Tyler, just protection. We didn't protect that well on that side of the ball. With the blue team, we had some drop balls, and I told him I got to take responsibility for the pick, because on third down I went in there and I was trying to help the offense a little bit. I was like, it's cover two, and ended up not being cover 2. So I said, I take responsibility for the pick. He's like, you owe me one. I said, yeah, I'll take responsibility. I'll tell the media, don't worry about it. I got this one. So, that was on me. But it's both of those guys have done extremely well. But it's good to see Sam play well in his first real game-like experience in Notre Dame Stadium, right? I know we had the jersey scrimmage last week, but to have fans here and this atmosphere that we had, and probably got to shout out the fans. I mean, it was really a good atmosphere for the weather conditions, and we appreciate all the support that our fans showed today too.
So I'm going to ask you to put the quarterback competition in perspective here, because the fan base, media, we leave the spring seeing today, and Sam was outstanding. So is the gap closer than what today would suggest, or do you feel like Sam is sort of making a move at this point?
No, I think we still have a quarterback battle, and what you can't determine a winner and loser based off one practice 15. And, and you can't base a decision off of what we view as a certain outcome. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that goes into a quarterback battle, but obviously the quarterback play. And so I know, just being out there, we got to go back and watch the film. I'm like, we're not blocking the end. There's some protection issues. We're dropping balls. We got to go and look where the route's exactly precise. I'm always going to defend the quarterbacks because, as I've always said, that position is most like the head coaches. They get praise and criticism. Everybody's going to praise Sam for how he played today. They're going to criticize Tyler. They both probably played pretty well. We have to look at the film. I know the stats might not say it, but listen, both of them are tremendously talented, and we'll go back and evaluate over 15 practices and continue to look as we move forward.
Staying right in front, Tyler Horton.
I'll ask you one more on the quarterbacks, just specifically on Sam. When you went out and got him from the transfer portal, and I know you said that obviously there were stipulations with the defense where they couldn't rush in certain situations, but just from a pure passing perspective, is that pretty much exactly what you envisioned that he could do in a Notre Dame uniform, getting the ball downfield?
Yeah. I don't want to downplay the performance Sam Hartman put on either. I just want to make sure that we look at this in a real lens, man. He played well today. I mean, he played really well, and it's really good to see. And as the head coach of this football team, you're like, yeah, that's what you want to see. You want to see some production from the offense. But, yeah, that's what I expected. When we went out to look for a transfer portal quarterback, you don't look for the second, third, fourth base. You look for the best player in the country that would fit in your locker room, and Sam Hartman showed today why, he was extremely successful at Wake Forest, and I think will be extremely successful here.
So easy to talk about all three of the freshman early enrollee wide receivers. Kind of hard to single in on one today. it was easy to single in on one. What is it about Jaden Greathouse that he can come out here and catch 11 passes for 118 yards and really be a factor on every single drive with multiple quarterbacks?
Yeah, I didn't even know that. 11 for 118 is a pretty good stat line. He stuck out. He played well. I mean, he played really well. All three of those freshmen are going to help us, and all three of those freshmen will play for us this year. I'm really confident that those three guys will help this football team, and it's good to see Jaden step up today. Like I said, when the lights are on, you want to see who will step up and make plays, and he's been. All three of them have been really, really good additions to our program throughout the spring. That wasn't just a one-time performance. All three of those guys have shown to be productive throughout spring.
All right, stay in the middle on the right, second row, check for.
Where do you feel you are at the end of this spring as opposed to the end of last spring?
Man, I can't even think back to last spring. Hopefully improved. I think you look at defensively, second year in the same system, the same scheme, same coaches, a lot of the same players. They're at a different level than they were last year. Last year they were still trying to figure it out, figure out what this Al Golden scheme is and how to implement it and how to run it. Offensively, you've just seen a great progression from, us naming Jared Parker to the new additions to the coaching staff, to Sam Hartman, some other guys. The progression, I'm most pleased with the offense, the progression from 1 to 15. With the defense, the ability to come out at practice 1 and play at a high level and be consistent throughout spring. And that's kind of how it's been. One group's doing this, one group's just been practicing at a high level for 15 practices. And so, I think we're at a better place. I am personally, as a head coach. And what I most realize more than anything is that we have to consistently get better. Like I said, how do you feel about going into the fall? Yeah, good. We better get better. We better get better and make sure that we're ready to play to our full potential week 1 or week 0, as you want to call it.
I know you like to watch the film, but from standing where you did today, did anybody besides who we mentioned already, Hartman and Greathouse, make you say, wow?
Man, I was trying to coach up the defense a little bit on the headset. I'm trying to think if anybody stood out. And not putting the ball on the ground, that was a positive. I think Audric played well. I know we didn't want to give him the ball too many times to be smart. I really can't evaluate the offensive line just from being where I was standing. J.D. Bertrand's always going to be consistent. I'm just trying to think who else, It's hard without watching film to just say who stood out. Yeah.
Okay, going over to the left in third row, Tim Priester.
Coach, we talked to Al Golden last week. He talked about the depth of the linebacking core. How do you see that? I mean, it looks like you can legitimately go too deep. Ziegler had a big day.
Yeah, it is. I was really pleased. Kyle Hamilton asked me down on the field, which group has stuck out to you today? And I said the linebackers, because we know what J.D. Bertrand and Maris Leofau can do, right? And they didn't play much this game. We kind of got them out of there. Jack Kaiser was out. But to see the production of the Nolan Zieglers, of the Jalen Sneeds, even of those 3 freshmen all step up and make plays, and that's a deep position, and I'm excited to see how that depth was going to help us as we move into the fall.
If you could change the format of the blue gold game, it's so different than your first 14 practices. Would you want to do that? Could you do that? And then secondly, there's a little bit of talk about the potential down the road of maybe being able to scrimmage somebody in the spring.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on both those things?
As far as the format of the blue gold game, there's still an element of it's televised nationally. Every year you're going to do some things differently schematically. And there's a part of that where you want to keep that in-house. You want to keep that in-house and not just show everything you're going to do. I want to see success on both sides of the ball. But we know that the jersey scrimmage is really for that. Jersey scrimmage is for game planning. That's put your best out on the field. Whereas the spring game is, I want to get everybody a chance to play. Not everybody gets a chance to play at Notre Dame Stadium or will ever get the opportunity to play in a meaningful game. And so it's a great opportunity to give the guys that you're counting on a chance to go out there and compete for a little bit, but also give the guys that might not ever step on that field in a meaningful game an opportunity to go out there and play in a real Notre Dame uniform in a spring game. And so I wouldn't change. I like it. I like it. I like what it provides for your team. I like what it provides for recruiting and what it provides for your fans. Would I absolutely. Absolutely. A chance to play another team, it would be good. You know, you're not going to – it would still be similar to a spring. You're not going to show everything. You're not going to want to get the guys you're counting on that have experience probably injured. And so you're still probably going to, hold back a couple guys, but I think to play another opponent would be pretty cool. Logistics on that, and that's for Ron Paulus and Jack Swarbrick to figure it out. But it would be different, but it's no different than almost like an NFL preseason game.
Okay, we're going to wrap up. Front row on your right, Mike 30.
It's a Mike. Different seat today.
The Lorenzo Styles news that came out, I know you tried to make it work there, but can you just enlighten us how it ended up, and is it disappointing for you that based on what you saw in a short span that he wasn't willing to stick around, I guess, and try both ways or defense?
He just came and said he's going to enter the transfer portal, and you wish him all the best, and like the only thing I told him and his father was just I hate losing out on an opportunity to get a Notre Dame degree. That's the only thing, is that, we all of our players chase this NFL dream and chase this dream of starting and playing a lot of football and major college football, and that can be achieved. But the degree from Notre Dame is truly something special. And I want that for every one of my players, because I believe an education from Notre Dame, a degree from Notre Dame, will take care of you the rest of your life. And that's what I wish for all of our kids that come through this program. But we love Zoe. I love Zoe, and I wish him all the best.
This is our first look, I guess, at Bryce McPherson in bad conditions. But how much of a weapon could he be with that leg, and how much has he grown just in this offseason?
Yeah, he's got a strong leg, really strong leg, and he's done some really good things throughout spring, and it's been impressive. And so, last year he went through a couple injuries. I think it was a groin or hip, but this year he's been healthy and he's been booting the heck out of the ball. And so I really look forward to seeing the weapon that he provides our team in terms of the battlefield position. Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.